What's going on, everybody? You read the title, you saw the thumbnail, and you clicked on the video. So in today's video, I want to talk about 5 consequences in being a street photographer. This is my personal list that I put together over the past decade or so of shooting street photography, my experience, my exposure, the things I wish I knew. Had I had this list in front of me, I probably would have had a much easier time pursuing this art. And I decided to put this list together to help you out on your street photography journey. Now, I'm not presenting this to you in any ranking system by any means. I don't think one is more important than the other. I think they're all equally important. So let's start with number 5, confrontation. Yes, before you even start street photography, a lot of you guys like to research, watch YouTube videos, and probably have that hesitation and seed planted in your own mind that, hey, if I'm going to take a photo of somebody, will they get mad at me, get angry, get pissed off? And those thoughts in your head may just kill your spirit in going out and pressing that shutter button. But let me tell you, if you're going to be very active in street photography, it's bound to happen. Now, from my experience of overshooting 10 years or so, I've only had a few incidents where it became a verbal altercation and nothing too spicy at all. It never got to the point where it escalated to any physical altercation or physical harm.
Oh my God!
And to be honest with you, in over 10 years, I probably have just 1 or 2 that really stick out in my mind. Now, if you're just curious how to avoid confrontation, I do have an older video a few years ago during COVID called 10 techniques on how to avoid confrontation. But go take a look at that. It's short, it's humorous, and maybe you could apply some of those techniques to diffuse confrontational situation. But yeah, back to this point, when you're starting off and you're unsure and you're hesitant on the street and you look like, well, you just don't blend in on the street, and pretty much anybody can see you from afar that you have a camera, that you look a little suspicious. And if you just take a photo of the wrong person or the wrong scene, the wrong situation, you may get some upset folks. That is totally normal. Now, I must say, you must use a little bit common sense to know what type of scene or situation to take a photo of. Now, I don't recommend going up to anybody and flashing them right in the face. By doing that, you're increasing your chances of any confrontation. But also, those type of images aren't that interesting to begin with. So yes, you're bound to have confrontation. It's part of the game. I wouldn't sweat too much about it. If you feel like in your gut you want to make that photograph happen, take the picture, shoot now, worry later. And worst case scenario, you can always just delete the photo if things get a little too heated. To the next point, number 4, it can be expensive. Yes, street photography can be an expensive hobby. You may just be thinking about the camera, the accessories, but if you get deep into this game, into this genre, you're gonna start wanting to travel to do street photography. You're gonna start maybe taking a workshop from one of your favorite street photographers. You're gonna be upgrading camera, lenses, and then over time, if you calculate how much you spent on street photography as your hobby, you may be quite surprised. Now, here's the thing, you can make it inexpensive. You can do street photography on your Android, on your iPhone, or whatever your camera you have laying around at your parents' house. But in case you don't have a camera and you're starting off and you're needing a camera of some sort, digital camera, compact one, goes around $1,000+ easily. I mean, the ricohgriii series, my favorite and highest recommendation camera for street photography. I mean, those cameras are going for $1,000+, $1,200+. And even on the resale market, they're not that much cheaper. Now, if you're going with a mirrorless SLR, it's going to be more expensive. It's going to be easily $2,000, $3,000 with a lens that you need to purchase on the side to attach to the camera. But in case digital is not your thing and you're interested in shooting film cameras like the Canon AE1 can be inexpensive. However, the cost of film with the resurgence and popularity of film nowadays, I mean, over time that adds up, especially the more you're shooting, the more film rolls you're using. I mean, you could easily be spending way more shooting film in a year than you do, your entire, 2-3 years with a digital camera. You're also going to be purchasing some photo books from some of your favorite street photographers. Having that visual reference in front of you in your hands can make all the difference in the world. Some of them can be expensive, especially if you buy books frequently and over time. That starts to add up. And then many people like to print their own work work. Printing is not cheap at all. Whether you go to a store or you buy your own printer and ink, the sound of all that right there sounds very overwhelming to me. My advice to you is just take it one step at a time. Just go out and have fun, press that shutter button, document your scene, your surrounding, and yeah, did I already say that? Have fun. The next one is it takes up a lot of time. The only way you're gonna get good at street photography is going out, practicing, getting your reps in. I mean, like Alex Webb said, 99% of the time it's gonna be failure. And really the only real opportunity of you getting a decent to good image is just going out there and making it happen. I mean, you can't go out once a month for a few hours and expect to get something decent. No. Luck will only strike once a decade in this world. So you really got to make an effort to make this a part of your routine. Whether you're shooting on your lunch break, whether you're shooting on your way to work, on your way home, on the weekends, especially you have family, you have kids, you're working multiple jobs, it can be a very challenging task. My advice is just to somehow make it part of your routine, like going to the gym. Make it part of your schedule. For instance, when I was working a 9-to-5 job, I would always shoot on my hour lunch break. I would bring home lunch, so I'll eat right before I go on my lunch break.
Inform me, please.
And then on my actual lunch break, I would go and shoot in and around the area. Now, did I ever get anything good during that time? Maybe I got 1 or 2 images during that time that I'm still proud of, but for the most part, it was a lot of misses. But it was okay because it took my mind off of work and it was a great break from that. Number 2, you'll take a lot of bad photographs. When you're starting out with something new, something fresh, you have these unrealistic expectations, especially if you're on Instagram and you're following some of your favorite street photographers and you seeing their following and the type of photos that they're posting on a daily to weekly basis. You can easily have these high expectations on yourself and think you can make these same or similar photographs out in your own community, out in your own streets, and sooner if not later you realize this genre is just very difficult to do because it's all candid. You can go out and shoot the same time every day on the same corner and get a complete different shot each and every time. Nothing's ever the same, and after a while you start to really question yourself why you're even shooting street photography. Why are you putting so much time for taking mediocre to really bad shots? I mean, I know I felt this way multiple times, especially early on in my street photography journey. At first I thought I could do it, it looks easy. All I gotta do is see it and press the shutter button, and next thing you know, the street photography gods really humbled me. But as I continue to learn about the genre and persist through, I was just looking at my photos on my computer and I was just not satisfied or impressed with what I was doing. Maybe in the moment of snapping that shutter button, I felt good that I was able to capture something like that. But when I got home and saw the image on a bit of a bigger monitor, I just felt like the image didn't hold up, which means it's not a good photo. And what happened was I stopped doing street photography for 2 years. I quit. Looking back, I somewhat regretted that. I lost 2 years of photographing my environment because I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like my photos was not any good, and it wasn't. So yes, keep in mind, you're gonna take a lot of bad photos. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just have fun with it, which leads me to my next point. Number 1, it's a long journey. I'm just being realistic to you. It's gonna be a long journey. You're gonna be taking a lot of bad shots. You're gonna be spending money on this. I guess you can call it a hobby. Some people have made a career out of it. I know I haven't. And through all this, just enjoy the journey. I guarantee you, when you look back at your career and you look at the photos that you were able to capture, you're gonna thank yourself that you picked up a camera. Now, I think every street photographer's dreams or hopes is to have that one iconic image before it's all said and done. Most of us will have good images that we're proud of, but I think a lot of us deep down, we want that, at least if we're lucky enough to have one iconic image that just stands the test of time. We may never know which photo that might be or which body of work that might be. Hell, you may not get the recognition or flowers until you're passing. Who knows? But while you and I are still here on earth, let's all contribute to this beautiful genre we call street photography. So there you have it, guys. 5 consequences of being a street photographer. I hope this short list can provide some insight or some guidance for you, because I wish I had this guide in front of me when I first started off. But what are some other consequences in being a street photographer? Let me know know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and hit the notification bell as well, so every time I upload new video or content, you will be notified. Until next time, keep shooting.